Okay, so it's been a long day. So I apologize for the darkness. This isn't the lightest room in the house, but it happens to be the quietest at this time. So I apologize for the poor lighting and for how exhausted I look. It's been a day, let's just say. Nothing bad. It's just an exhausting life we live. Started counseling with one of my sons today, and on the way there he was refusing. He didn't want to go, and telling me how much he didn't want to go, and he wasn't going to do anything. He was just going to sit there. And within 10 minutes of the session, he seemed to open up and seemed to be willing to talk to the new counselor. So hopefully we see some benefits in terms of maybe some behavior management and some coping skills so that he can be a little more independent. So today's topic isn't just me rambling. Let's just talk about our emotions. Let's talk about some of the things that we feel when a child is diagnosed. And this isn't just applicable to autism, but any special needs diagnosis. When a parent receives this diagnosis of one of their children, they go through the stages of grieving, just like if they lost someone. I am not downplaying death. I'm also not trying to be dramatic, but it is something that parents do go through. We exhibit the symptoms of fear, blame, anger. We go through depression periods of what if, or why me, or is it my fault? And once you've gone through a stage, doesn't mean you're not going to go back. Everybody grieves differently. People hear grief and they automatically assume that you're talking death, and that's not the case. We grieve a lot of things. We grieve when relationships end. We grieve for death. We grieve when we move away. You grieve for many, many reasons. And the reason you'd grieve in this instance is when you have a child and you have a healthy pregnancy, or your bad pregnancy even ends with a healthy child, a healthy infant, you have these preconceived ideals and goals of what life's going to be like for you as a parent and for your children. When you receive a life-altering diagnosis, those goals sometimes are done instantly. And that's why parents experience grief. Their ideas, their goals, their outlooks, what they thought was going to happen can change instantaneously. That doesn't mean you don't have goals. That doesn't mean life isn't going to be great and happy and fun and tiring and exhausting and irritating and every little thing that we feel, because it is. But do understand that as a parent, if you're going through those stages, that's normal. The one that I find the most difficult is, as a parent advocate, is dealing with the stage of denial. But it's something that we all go through. I often times have a parent, typically it's the mother, but not always, come to me for assistance as an advocate, and I can give them 100 great ideas. 99 of them they haven't tried, but they have a reason why they won't work before they even try them. And it is so frustrating. The denial of this isn't going to work, or you don't know my kid, or denial of everything can be so hard. And I've been there. I get it. But it can be so, so difficult on the side of an advocate trying to help and support a parent, because I've been there and I know how hard it is. And they're just making it harder. But eventually they'll come around, and when they do, they'll be ready for the advice and the help and the assistance, and maybe just point it in the right direction, and things will get better. So I guess keep plugging away, keep understanding those emotions are okay. They'll come and go. You may think you're done with the denial stage and realize you're not. You may be angered with the diagnosis or blaming the doctor or blaming vaccines or blaming environment or blaming your genetics or whatever. It's the husband's fault. It's the mother's fault. It's the grandfather's fault. We were too old, whatever. We can blame everything. But in the end, that's our child. So we're going to ultimately take care of them the best that we know how. But understand those emotions. They're normal. We've all been there, or we're all still there. Find a parent, preferably one that's been through the stages of life that you're at with your child. So if you are a parent with a new diagnosis, look for somebody who's had a child that's been diagnosed for years. If you are hitting puberty, look for a parent that's got an adult child that's already been through the puberty stages. That's your best ally, your best support is a fellow parent that's been there. They won't share your entire story. They won't be able to say 100% what's going to work or what's going to not. But the fact that you're not alone, and the fact that chances are you're going to tell a story and the parent's going to say, you know what, we had something similar, and they're going to tell you, and they're going to tell you, and they're going to tell you what worked for them and what didn't work for them. And that may not be what works for you, and that's okay. But reach out to them. Really do embrace the fact that other parents are going to be the best support, the best knowledge, the best referrals that you'll ever have. So I apologize for the late video and for the lack of topic, because really this wasn't the plan. I just kind of flew by the seat of my pants because it's been such a long day. I do hope later this week to do one of my speeches entirely with my son's voice output device. I don't know how successful I'll be, but hopefully I can get at least some of it done so that you can see the way that it works and how somebody would utilize it. And heck, maybe it'll give you a break from having to listen to me ramble on and on and on, but it is what it is. I hope that you continue to watch and that you continue to find some source of knowledge, some source of comfort, or maybe a question you need to ask. There are no stupid questions, only unasked questions. So let me know what you think in terms of topics this week. Any more questions you have for Christian? I'm sure he'd love to do another video. I think he'd do them every day if we had enough for him to talk about. So give me ideas, feedback, suggestions, questions, concerns. And I'd also like to do a video in the next week or so of items that we find useful that have been of comfort or of assistance to our kids and adults on the spectrum. So if you have something that you use, noise canceling headphones, weighted blankets, even off the wall stuff, apps, communication apps, what works with schools. If you have any input and ideas, I'd love to hear them. I'd love to share with others. That's the best way to learn about things is through word of mouth. So shoot me an email, comment below if you're not somebody that knows how to reach me with my personal contact information, and we'll see what we can do in terms of helping others with ideas that maybe they haven't thought of. Let's face it, we all miss things, every last one of us, even those that claim that they don't. So anyway, have a good night, and I hope tomorrow's better, and hopefully I'm more organized and have a better topic. So have a good night, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.